Hi everyone, it's Sean with Paycheck to Portfolio. Today we're going on week 2 of the series From Spark to Fire, How to Start Investing with $500. So basically what we've done is we opened up a brokerage account with a $2,500 balance. Just for clarification, you need $2,000 to start your margin account. That's a requirement. And then I added another $500 on top of that just to give me some buffer so I can use the margin availability to start floating a small bill, such as a utility bill, a water bill, electric bill. That's what I plan on doing as we move forward. And then every paycheck that comes in, I'm transferring $250 to this starter account. I plan on fully investing that $250 and then floating the expense, which will allow me to compound and to create a business spread. So basically that $250, I'm going to be investing in the 20 to 30% paying blended yields between growth, closed-end funds, and high yield funds. If you're new to my channel, you can look at the chart on the right and check out my whole YouTube channel. All of my W-2 income rolls into my brokerage account. Again, I invest in the 3 buckets: long-term growth stocks such as SPYG, McDonald's, Costco, Berkshire Hathaway, and others. I also invest in the closed-end funds such as Cornerstone and Goff. And then finally, I invest in the high yield funds such as QQQI, SPYI, and others. And so what I'm getting is I'm getting growth and compounding, which gives me equity. And then I'm getting cash flow from the high yield funds that allow me to erode my expenses and to cover my margin interest, which I'm using to live off of, so I can compound on the front end my whole paycheck, as opposed to investing on the back end and having to wait 30 years to retire. So as time moves on and paycheck after paycheck rolls in, my dividends are accumulating and snowballing in the background, and my equity is growing, which will allow me to essentially erode all of my expenses, to be fully invested, and to retire in 5 to 7 to 10 years as opposed to 30 years because of the front loading of my entire paycheck instead of just investing the leftovers, which allows me to keep the compounding cycle going. So we're going to talk about the starter account portfolio, the business spread on that, the week 1 transactions, the week 2 transactions, the week 2 orders that I'm putting in for tomorrow morning, and then additional resources. But I wanted to show you the actual brokerage account with the Spark to Fire account that we're opening here. I've referred to it as the P2P Starter Account. You can see the account value sitting at $2,659. I've transferred in $250, which I'm going to fully invest tomorrow. And then I'll walk you step by step through the next steps that we plan on doing as weeks go on here. So the market had a rough day. The portfolio was down basically 2.5%. Just a little shaky day in the market with some earning seasons and AI pullback a little bit with tech and Bitcoin. But with this system, we're dollar cost averaging, so that will smooth out over time. So you can see with the $2,659 currently invested, I have a projected net income here on ETRADE. If you go to the estimated income tab, you'll see I'm projected to get about $661 of income so far. That equates to about a 27 to 28% blended yield right now. And obviously that's going to ebb and flow as distributions come in and as I extend the different asset classes that I'm buying, or the different holdings, if you will, the different tickers essentially. I'm going to try to get that up north of 30% as time moves on incrementally, but not all at once. Again, I'm trying to get the balance between growth, closed-end funds, and high-yield funds all at the same time. So I just wanted you to see the estimated income tab there. In the current next month, you can see it's projected to be about $60. On E-Trade, when you see the purple bar graph, that's basically what's been announced. And then the orange part of the bar graph is what's estimated, just so you're used to looking at that. And then down below, they take the last distribution, E-Trade does, and then they annualize that out over 12 months. So jumping right into the Excel file, again, we talked about the portfolio. I took a screenshot of that here. Again, I upload all of these documents into the membership Discord so people can grab them. I added the estimated income tab over here on the right just so we have it running. I just wanted to show it to you live for transparency's sake. But I did want to talk about this quote from Benjamin Graham. He basically said the best way to measure your investing success is not by whether you're beating the market, but by whether you've put in place a financial plan and a behavior discipline that are likely going to get you where you want to go. So again, in this system, it's about continuously investing, dollar cost averaging, investing into the three buckets, and front loading the velocity of cash as opposed to just investing the leftovers. So again, I'm running my brokerage like a business or a private equity company. I'm building equity and I'm building cash flow so I can eventually live out of the account and it will cover all of my living expenses. On the next tab, you can see a simple business spread calculator you can type in here. I've just updated it with current yields and current amounts. Again, when I start floating my bill, let's say it's a $350 electric bill, you can see what the business spread would break down into. So right now, just for conversation, the account value is $2,659. The debt would be $350 that I would float with the margin bridge. Part of that in the bill. The blended yield right now is sitting at approximately 27.5%. My margin interest rate is 8.44%, but if you have an 11%, you could type that in here and it will account for that. If you're interested in getting closer to the calculator, it will calculate your equity, basically between the gross and net equity amounts. The business spread of being 19%, that's the key. We're not just moving money in to pay interest on it and just moving money around for fun. We're creating a business spread with our own money that we have to pay bills on anyway. So again, the money is coming in, it's being fully invested with a blended yield of 27.5%. We're floating the bill. In my case, it's an 8.44% charge annualized on $350. And it breaks down basically the business spread at that point, giving me a net spread of 19%. My annual dividends, this is taking into account from the specific website of these companies. They tell you the annualized projected yield. So the 731 is coming directly from those websites. Again, ETRADE takes the last distribution and annualizes it times 12 months. The 731 is based off of the blended yield coming directly from the company. So it's within $100, right in that range, but you can slice and dice dividends a few different ways depending on how you want to look at it. If you look at the annualized margin interest, it's $29 when you're talking about that $350. So the calculator basically breaks it up into an annual business spread, which is dividends minus interest, and then your monthly net. So each cycle you do this, you're creating cash flow for yourself, just like a business does with an SBA loan and generating cash flow with that. Looking at my week one transactions, I put those orders in last week's video. You can see what was actually purchased. So you can see the transaction date up here, the transaction type, whether it was a dividend or a purchase or a transfer. You can see the symbols I purchased with that and what they were tagged either as income, dividends, or the specific tickers that were purchased or bought. You can see the quantity of those purchases, the amount, the price, and then the specific transaction. And then you can see the estimated annual income as well. If you go to the brokerage account and you just go into positions here, you can actually customize this view in most brokerages. So you can go select what you want to see. You can add dividends, dividend pay date, dividend yield, estimated annual income. You can grab your percentage of the portfolio so you can see what your allocation is there. And it just makes it a nice visual to see, and it will break it down for you so you can grab that on your own. And that's where I grabbed the estimated income right here in its current state. Again, this is ETRADE's annualized dividend projection based off of the last payment on this tab. Week 2 actions. So if you're following along with me and you want to start floating a bill step by step with me, you can order your debit card at this website. This is what my debit card actually looks like right here. So this debit card is attached directly to your brokerage account. When you swipe it, it pulls from your margin equity, and that's how you live out of the brokerage account. You can also use a routing and account number. All of ETRADE's routing numbers are exactly the same. They're all this 560-735-73. What differentiates you from other brokerage accounts is your account number. You can find that account number over here. If you go to complete view, over here, if you hit show number, it will pull basically this whole account number, and that is your differentiation with the account number there. So if you want to use like an auto draft, like I'm going to do for my electric bill or my water bill, I'll simply either use the debit card to pay it, or you can use a routing and account number to pay it if you're living and transacting through the actual account from a routing to account number perspective. So again, the account number differentiates the brokerages. What I've done here is I've deposited that $250. I got paid on 1031. I plan on investing $500 a month and floating a small bill, electric utilities, and fully investing that $500. I'm sticking right now to a 40-60 split approximately. What that means is 40% I'm allocating towards growth and closed-end funds, and 60% I'm aiming for high yield. I'm dripping the growth and closed-end funds to create compounding, and the high yields I'm taking as cash. On the week 2 orders, what I put in to transact tomorrow morning is I put one order in for SPYG. That's in the growth bucket. The projected cost is about $106. The yield is very small on that. Again, I'm looking at that from a growth perspective. And then I'm adding Round Hill's covered call strategy on Bitcoin. The reason I chose to do that, I think, is pretty obvious. Bitcoin went below $100,000 today. So I look at that as it being on sale right now. And I think it's actually bounced back over $100,000 the last time I looked. But I put an order in for YBTC, a quantity of 4. That hits the high yield bucket. The cost projection on that's $144. And you can see the projected annualized yield is 43, basically 44%. You can see those orders are in and will transact tomorrow morning. One other thing I wanted to show is if you're not using ETRADE to basically float your bills out of and to live out of, in our membership Discord, this is the server and what it looks like. There's more up above. But we have multiple members living out of multiple brokerage accounts. You can see we have a Robinhood channel, a Schwab channel, a Fidelity channel, and an ETRADE channel. We even have folks from Canada and other European countries using interactive brokers and others. So there's resources there as well. If you want to be part of our community and you want to live out of your brokerage account, but you don't use ETRADE, you can still do this with other brokerage accounts. And we have a community that can help you step by step through that. So I just wanted to call that out. It's highlighted down here. I know it's a little bit small, but again, we have channels that are differentiated by brokerage accounts there that you can click on. If you need any additional help or resources, you can go see my full YouTube channel, my long form videos that I'm posting on Saturday for my whole brokerage account that's over $329,000 and that I'm fully invested in and living out of. If you want to see all of those videos, and I have series that I've created that take you step by step through the process. You can grab under all of my videos and pinned comments, you can grab a free starter kit. You can book a one-on-one strategy call with me. You can join our private Discord and membership, or you can set up white glove coaching with me where I'll go shoulder to shoulder and get you set up and make sure you're comfortable with the system the way that I run it. I hope you found this series useful and that you're able to click along with me and follow along with the logic and just really get started. And dollar cost average. So hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Bye.